So I've been in this space long enough to where I can tell within the first few seconds what kind of content I'm looking at. And it almost always goes one of two ways. Either whoever made it is clearly talking to themselves and forgot there's an actual audience, or there's a sponsorship somewhere that nobody's mentioning out loud. And both are pretty much useless to me at this point. What I kept running into though, and this is what actually got me interested, is the fact that every single on-chain action has a cost. Every transfer, every swap, network fees comes out of wallet every time, and at some point I started wondering whether any of that was actually gone for good. I've been hands-on with DeFi protocols for a few years, and that kind of work builds up a certain sense for when something is genuinely functional. So today I'm walking through a specific solution I've been testing for a while, and I'll also run through how I personally approach figuring out whether something is worth the time. And my process is always the same. I go straight to the tech, skip the marketing, because the way something actually runs under real conditions is just the most honest version of what it is. So first thing, I log in my wallet I've been using most consistently. All the transaction history I care about recovering is in there. It gives several different options for connecting, which is already a reasonable first impression, but going with the most straightforward for my setup. All right, it's connected without a hitch. Address is showing there on the panel. So next up, I pick chains I want to scan. So basically just highlighting the networks I've been running activity on, and then press scan. Okay, system starts chewing through all the data. And that came back already. It's laying out the full breakdown right here. Total gas that's gone out of the wallet over the entire history and how much of that is actually claimable. I press view results, and now I'm going through and choose the chain to claim from. Or I can actually just grab all the networks in one shot, which is what I'm doing here. Then I point it at the network where I want the tokens to end up and tap confirm. And from here, it just needs a few minutes for the protocol to get that finalized. Okay, while we wait, let me explain actual mechanics of this tech, because it sounds more complicated than it is. So this protocol has agreements with platforms that run purely on the blockchain, and I mean there's genuinely no company in the middle here, no back-end server, just automated code executing on-chain every time a trade goes through. A small cut from every one of trades feeds into a rebate pool. And that same pool also collects from something that most people just never see. When transactions are being processed on the blockchain, processors can reorder them in a way that generates extra profit for themselves. That value normally just quietly disappears. And then on top of all that, there's a separate reserve that's there purely for the historical gas recovery piece, which is exactly what just got kicked off a minute ago. So, pool from trading platforms, cut from transaction processors, dedicated reserve. That's the three components that actually back the rebates. All right, so I've had the solution testing for a while, ran it through different scenarios, kept an eye on how the behavior held up over time, checked whether the logic stayed consistent, and nothing ever surfaced that gave me a reason to pump the brakes. It's a product that knows exactly what it is, doesn't try to stretch into 10 different directions, just does one thing and does it cleanly. And that kind of focus is usually a good indicator that the people who built it actually knew what they were doing. The structure holds together, nothing felt like it was covering something up, and week after week, the behavior stayed stable. And honestly, that's the thing that matters most to me. Not the pitch, just whether it keeps doing what it's supposed to do. That's it.